If you're asking my personal opinion, especially after having experiences with narcissists, and my personal experiences, these are my personal experiences, these are my personal experiences. I have to repeat that because I don't want you to make a decision based off what I did and what I would do. I just want to give you a different perspective of what happened to me. I was with, there's probably 2 or 3 relationships I was with narcissistic women. But one in particular, I was with a narcissistic woman who was I feel like, the worst narcissistic relationship I've ever been in. And the relationship was all about her. I could never love her. It's a difference between it's a difference between having a problem in a relationship and making your partner feel like they're the problem in a relationship. And I was always made to feel like I was the problem in a relationship. I couldn't do anything right. It was always my fault. It was always my problem. I should have done more. I should have known better. I should have done things differently. It felt like every time I would meet a standard, the goalpost would move a little bit, and I would have to go meet the goalpost, and they would move it, and I would have to. It was never good enough. There was never any positive feedback. There was never any care about my own personal wants and needs. There was never any reassurance, never talked about my feelings and my emotions. It was all about them and how their day went and how they're upset and how they're angry and what they're going through and how life is so hard for them and how they need help and how they need support. And I just felt like I had to be everything by myself. I had to be a caregiver. I had to be a house cleaner. I had to be a chauffeur. Like, I had to literally be everything for that person. And that person was nothing at all for me. And when I felt like I was pulling back, when I felt like, you know what, I'm actually going to leave, the little attention that I feel like I wanted, because I hadn't had attention for so long. So he'd be like, oh, here's a breadcrumb, here's a little attention. I'm like, you know what, okay, this is enough. Maybe they're changing, maybe they're going to stay. Nope, the actions continue repeatedly. And then I'm like, all right, it's time for me to go. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I could treat you better. I love you. I care for you. Here's another breadcrumb. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is good. I can stay a little bit. And it got to a point where I got tired of the breadcrumbs. So they start cutting off half of the loaf to give to me. Like, oh, here's a little bit more attention to keep you to stay. I'm like, okay, shit, maybe. And then I've learned that, like, okay, maybe I just need to get to the point of walking away from the relationship to get to the point of them acting right. And it turned into, and I just thought eventually I was going to get to the whole loaf. Like, instead of them giving me a crumb and then give me half of the loaf, they was going to give me the whole loaf. Like, okay, here's all the love, here's all the attention, here's all the things that I know you need as a partner. It was like, you know what? Since you're not appreciative of the half I was giving you, I'm taking the whole thing back. And now you just need to stay, because if you leave, then you're a shitbag and you don't care about me, you don't love me, and you don't want to be with me, and you're never appreciative of the things I do for you. You're never appreciative of the things that I gave you. You're never appreciative of nothing. You're just ungrateful. And it's just turned into like, I'm I know I'm not any of these things, but like, am I these things? Especially after coming out of unhealthy relationships previous to that, and then this person who I was supposed to love and care for, and this person who's supposed to love and care for me, is just reinforcing all the things that other people have said about me, and then also not having enough self-confidence to be secure within myself to understand that that's not true. So taking essentially somebody else's opinion of me to heart and becoming the problem and feeling like, okay, if I'm the problem, obviously I need to change my entire being, and I need to change who I am and how I do things and how I was used to doing things, and change it to how this person wants me to do things now, because they want me to be this person for them. They want me to love them. They want me to care for them. So I have to fill this role for them, because if I don't, nobody else is going to know them the way I do. Nobody else is going to be there for the way, nobody else is going to be there for them the way I am. No one else is going to love them. Nobody else knows them to the extent I do. And the whole time I am sacrificing my mental and my emotional and my financial. I'm sacrificing everything that comes to me. Like, I'm compromising myself for the benefit of someone else. And it was never a return on my investment. Not that I was only pouring into the relationship because I was wanting something back in return, not in a manipulative sense, but like, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to give 100% in a relationship, and then there's supposed to be a return, because the other person's supposed to be giving 100% too. So like, not saying that you're only giving it to a relationship because you're expecting something back, but like, you should be expecting something back. Not that it's transactional, but because like, that's how a relationship is. It was never like that. And it got to the point where I got tired. I got frustrated. I got angry. I got to all the parts of myself that I never wanted to see because I wasn't leaving the environment that was harming me, and I wasn't dealing with my feelings and my emotions in a healthy way because I didn't. At the time, I was trying to express my feelings and my emotions to friends and family, but it's like friends and family are telling me to leave. Like, obviously, if the relationship's that bad, leave. And I'm like, yeah, I hear y'all and I know I should leave, but like, y'all don't see this person like how I see them, and y'all don't understand what we go through. But what about the good times? And what about all the times where it's not like this? And it was never good times. There was only good times because they made it that way. It was only good times because they gave me breadcrumbs to remember. Oh, just before you're about to leave, remember what you're throwing away. Remember what you could have. Remember what you could get. If you stay a little bit longer for the grand prize of kissing my ass, I'll give you a little bit more love so you can stay a little bit longer. Like it's one thing if a partner has a problem in a relationship. We could talk about that. We can work through it. We could dissect it. We could discuss it. And then their action, rather if it was something that was said or something that was done, can change. Because I have the ability to change the action depending on what it is. So if you don't like the way I said something towards you, or if you don't like the way I did something because it made you uncomfortable, I can change that. I have the abilities to change that. But for me to change myself and who I am as a person, you don't want to be with me. You want to be with the ideal version of me that you have in your head, because there's things within yourself that you haven't fulfilled and worked through, and you're expecting me to be that puzzle piece for you to complete you when you should already be completed to a certain extent, and I should just be adding on and reinforcing to all the healthy work you've done within yourself. And unfortunately, I wasn't with the person who was like that. And I wasn't healthy within myself. And it showed by how much I was willing to tolerate from an individual who didn't love me and who didn't care for me, who didn't see me for me. They seen who they wanted me to become. And I became that person because I thought that's what love is. You change. You become different. You compromise. You do the things for your partner because you love them and you care for them. But that wasn't love. So when we talk about a narcissistic individual, I firmly would say, like, the healthiest thing I could have done was chose me, and choosing me meant getting out of that environment and leaving the relationship and loving me and caring for me and understanding that I am worth more than other people are giving me credit for. I am smart and I am an amazing person, and there were aspects of myself that I needed to work through. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't perfect, and I'm still not perfect. And there were parts of me that I need to work through as far as trauma and as far as like mental health and stuff like that. But after I did the work, I realized like I'm worth more than gold, and that's how I feel about myself. And if the person I'm with doesn't see me that way, then I'm with the wrong person.